Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am here. Amy's here. Hello, Ames.
What up?
Not much. I know you've been struggling today. I've been struggling as well. I don't know what, something I ate. I'm not feeling all that great.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll
Been
be all
on the
right.
toilet?
Yeah, a little bit, but
that
my
sucks.
belly's rough. It's
Yeah.
just,
Would you rather have like like the body aches and like a sore throat, or would you rather have like, the shits and the throwing up?
body ache. Well,
Really?
no, I take that back.
There is nothing worse to me than body aches. When I
Yeah,
have body aches, I
body aches
think
are,
my life
yeah,
is ending. I can't
yeah,
remember what life is like normal.
yeah,
I don't think it's ever gonna go back to normal. I think I'm just relegated to this life of constant pain. I can't It's the worst.
yeah, yeah. No, that was a stupid statement by me because I can, you threw me off when you said throwing up.
Yeah.
Because that's like stomach, like whatever,
Yeah.
I'm
Plus,
so
I feel
used
like
to
you
that.
get to a
But
point where it's just like water, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I live in a world of water, so that's not that big of a deal. But we were talking in the members area about uh, our trip to Dallas,
Yeah.
and I was saying how right before we went live on the first episode we did, I got sick feet, like I felt nauseous, like sweaty mouth, like I'm going to throw up. I started like, and I had these visions of just like face planting literally as the intro music was going. Like I felt like $1,000,000 right up until that moment. And I don't know. It's not, and I'm not dumb enough to like go have a big meal right before going live on a show. I know better than that.
Yeah.
So it's not even like I can like, and believe it or not, that morning at my hotel, I went downstairs. They had waffles, and they had waffles shaped like Texas, and then they had a can of whipped creams, and they had fruits. Dude, I ate a fucking yogurt, a vanilla yogurt with just some like granola I sprinkled in it. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah, I don't know why. I'm not feeling waffles and whipped creams and strawberries right now. I wasn't feeling it. And I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I'll just have a cup of coffee and I'll just have a yogurt. I'm good. And so it's not like I like went off course because it'd be weird for me to eat waffles and whipped cream and all that stuff. So I like didn't do that. I
Yeah.
went, and it was just like, oh, I wasn't trying to be conscious of anything. It was just like, maybe later.
Yeah.
And it never came. So like it made no sense. It was almost like I was drugged and like right at showtime. And people probably recognized it. Like when we started, it was like, you got this. You take the ball and run with it.
You could have given me a heads up, Mike.
Dude, I didn't know. And it was like, what is going on? Is this going to pass? Is this going to, like, it was weird.
That is
It was
weird.
weird.
Maybe you were having like a mini stroke.
Maybe. Yeah, dude, it could have been. Like, that's my nightmare is going out publicly like that, like
Yeah.
face planting, shitting myself, and then just like,
Totally.
because that's how you'd be remembered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what was the story last week about the lady that was like, I want my husband to remembered, and it was like, oh, the guy fucked on the F train or whatever in New York City subway,
Yes.
and it's like,
Yikes.
no, he's not. No, I know all
Yeah.
he loved his kids.
Yeah, he's gonna only be remembered for that. That's the
Right.
only reason he's known.
Yeah, yeah. So if I had face planted on Normal World and collapsed, died, shit myself, like, dude, that's it. That's how you're remembered. Like,
What a waste of
nothing
a
else
trip that would have been. And then I would have had to deal with all these logistics of getting your dead body back to air. Like, don't put that
No, you
on me,
wouldn't.
Mike.
You wouldn't.
I
No,
would just say to your mom, listen, you guys figure it out. I gotta go.
No, here's the thing with my family. My family would be like, oh my God, of course he's putting you through this, Amy. Just let's upgrade your flight to first class, get you home. We're so sorry to have bothered you like this. We're on our way. We'll get him. We'll collect him.
What a pain in the ass to die on vacation, though. My grandpa died on vacation.
Really?
In Florida. Yeah. And then you've got to like fuck around with flying the body back and stuff. How annoying is that?
Yeah, it's like Lost.
What
I mean,
an
you saw what
extra
Jack went through.
expense. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that would. Do you have to pay for that, or does the airline cover that?
Yeah, no, you have to pay for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to die on vacation.
No, you don't. I don't know. Maybe you do. Die happy, I guess.
Yeah,
At least you're
the
not
whole
bummed
dying
out.
thing to me is just not like, who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
I'm out the game at that
I
point.
think
Like, you
about
don't
it
have
a
to buy
lot.
me you don't have to buy me a fancy box. I don't want a fancy box.
You're
Just
like the
don't
Pope.
bury me in the ground. Yeah,
The Pope
yeah.
didn't want a big fancy box.
He didn't?
No, he just wanted a standard cedar box that had like a cross on it. It was very simple per his
Yeah.
request. I
Yeah,
caught
but there's
myself watching the Pope's funeral on 2x speed. Not the whole
really?
thing, just like the highlights.
Can you believe how disgraceful our president was?
The worst. I will
I saw
say when I was watching it, I had the thought, why is he the only one in Navy?
Yeah.
But it was just a fleeting thought. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe he wore Navy. It did stick out that he was the only one in Navy.
He wasn't though.
Oh, he wasn't. Well, the shot that I saw,
close.
just in the shot that I saw, he was the only one wearing Navy.
Yeah, I know, because that's the one the New York Times put out to sell their further narrative. They're going to learn at some point. At some point, this is going to burn them. Because the picture you're talking about shows like 3 rows of people behind Trump, two rows of people to the right and left of him, and he's in the front row. And it's like everybody's in black, and then there's Trump in blue. And it's like, what an asshole. I saw that picture, and then I saw this one where he looked like this. Right? And it's one of those where if you pause at any point, you're going to get someone
Oh, yeah, of course.
frozen however they are. And it's like, what a disgrace. And it's like, okay. And so I just do what I do now. Take a beat, wait, and go, okay. And there it is. There's the full shot. And it's like navy blue, navy blue, navy blue, navy blue, navy blue, navy blue. And then you go, oh, the New York Times cropped the fuck out of that to find the 12 people in the image all wearing black to try to make him look like an asshole. And you're like, yeah, this just, I mean, it's got to get old to people.
It doesn't get old.
Do you think? I know like Dave Abruzzese, who I keep bringing up as my example because I don't want to mention normal people who are losing their minds. I probably should because they're doing it publicly. So, maybe it doesn't matter if I start pulling up their fucking posts.
Yeah.
And just be like, this is how bad it can get. This is how delusional you can get, how far down the rabbit hole you can get, that you'll make comments like this publicly and think you're okay, that you're not the problem.
Right.
But I haven't done that. But yeah, Dave Abruzzese, the drummer from Pearl Jam, who I swear is Pearl Jam's greatest drummer ever. I don't care that he's entirely deranged with his hatred of Trump. I don't care. He should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm disgusted that Meg White is going into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as a drummer, and Dave Abruzzese is not in there. It's hilarious, but whatever. Maybe later we'll talk about that. But, he was the one doing that, like posting like, oh, let's get a still image of Trump, right? No, with frozen face.
Yeah, yeah.
What a disgrace. What a disgraceful human. You're just like, oh my God, dude, you got to get old. You just are so pent up with hatred and anger that's all you can see.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
You know what I mean? And it's wild because it's not like you pulled his dick out at the Pope's funeral.
Exactly. And that, but
you know what I mean?
It's not a big deal. I noticed it, and then I thought, okay, at the same time, he's the leader of the free world. He can wear whatever the fuck he wants.
Maybe
if
you
he
can
wants to wear a Navy suit, he can wear a fucking Navy suit.
Maybe pull up the picture. And you obviously haven't seen the follow-up picture that's a wider shot.
I saw I was watching it. I was watching video of it. Like I was watching, there was like a 40-minute thing that I watched on 2 times. Why'd you do that to yourself? I don't know. I just did. It was just like the highlights. And so I saw him, albeit in a kind of a zoomed in shot where he was greeting other world leaders and everybody else had on black. And I just remember saying like, why is he in blue? He's the leader of the free world. He can wear whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, there were like Indians there in like full blown headdresses, like because the Pope reached out to, every tribe on the planet. Like, what are we doing here? It's okay that he wore Navy. People wear Navy to funerals.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. I thinking about it, it's like, do guys? I don't see like. I mean, outside of like Men in Black or like, oh, I'm working for the Secret Service. Like, dudes, I don't see out like, when guys get all dressed up, and I don't see a lot of black suited guys. Like, is that common? Does Rocky, I've seen plenty of pictures of Rocky. He's usually got a gray suit on or
gray or blue or.
Look at that. Oh my God. That one down there.
This one
where they've put a filter over that to make the blue really pop.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And I mean, like, look at this. You can barely tell that they're even wearing something different. And you could just tell when he was standing next to Melania that he was in Navy, but again, it's not that big of a deal.
So that picture there, and I was right. New York Times did that. If you pan that out just a couple rows, you're going to start seeing blue suits dotted all over the place.
Yeah.
But that's, it's done on purpose, and it leads to a few things. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. So is that a bigger picture there? I don't know. There's one I say. It doesn't matter, Ames. You know I'm not lying to you to try to sell something. It's like, and it's really stories like that bother me so much, because here you are talking about Trump again, not you, me, us. For nothing. This should just go by the wayside. This is just, state funeral for a leader of a religion. Okay, whatever. It's only a story because the New York Times made it a thing and then highlighted that fact. It's like, no one is trying to go to the defense of Trump. It's like trying to explain to crazy people, like, they're doing it again. Like, they're trying to sell you on a story that's bad. Like, I think it all goes hand in hand. I do think there is some changing to this. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner was over the weekend too.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even really know. A handful of actors, entertainers, and other notable figures turned up for the dinner, an event that Trump and his administration opted to skip. The annual dinner raises funds to support the journalists who cover the president. It was held at the Hilton in Washington. The event is famous for being an inside the Beltway opportunity to poke fun at U.S. presidents and unite celebrities, media executives, and luminaries under one roof. He did not attend during his first term as president, and Carolyn Leavitt said she wasn't going to attend either. Last year, Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live headlined it. Honest to God, I wouldn't go to something like that either. Like, it's one thing to know that people are poking fun at you, right? Like, hey, we're not North Korea. We're not Russia, where you can't take good-natured jabs at leadership, right? Like, hey, the king can also laugh at himself with a court jester. Try that shit in North Korea. Try that in China. Like, that's the kind of the point of it. Like, hey, we're hard on you, but we can all take jokes. There's such a line between what they did the last decade and what's normal, like, you want to make
propaganda.
Fun of, right. And so I kind of like the idea of like, no, I'm not playing your game. Fuck off. Have fun at your stupid dinner. Like, no.
Right.
And the fact is, you lied about this guy for 10 years, literally every minute of the day.
Yeah.
Your reporting led to assassination attempts on his life. Your reporting led directly to attempts to throw him in prison for what were they talking, 700 years or something? Like, max 700 years in prison. Like, led to death threats nonstop, 2 assassination attempts. You tried to bankrupt him. You tried to make sure he could never run for president. Like, those things happen. Like, why would he go just like, you almost got me?
Right.
No.
Right. And it'd be one thing if like the propaganda were in his favor, like it is for every other Democrat president.
Right.
Like, you kind of understand why they're going. Why the fuck would Trump give them the time of day? It doesn't make any sense at all. And like, he's busy doing actual shit. So, and even if he wasn't doing actual shit, even if he skipped it to go golfing, I would be like, yes, please do that, because you shouldn't have to suffer through that bullshit.
Yeah. I used to have this attitude of like, be better than them, rise above. You can go sit in there and like, and I mean years ago, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, no, the gloves have so come off on what is acceptable behavior and what is just pure propaganda. And I know there's a good 20% of this nation who doesn't understand that they're being propagandized at this level and believe all that. But I wouldn't play along into this like what you've done's okay. And the fact that nobody has taken any accountability or is asking for accountability for that is telling. And I honestly, I'm not just going to move on.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm like, no, Adam Schiff is not just going to come on my TV and say something and I'm just going to be like, he's got a good point. Like, no. What about that last, right? Like, what's her name last week? Got all kinds of shit. Pocahontas. Where probably for like the first time ever in her career, she was asked a follow-up question about her opinion on Joe Biden. And it was like she didn't know what to do with it. She made a fool of herself. Yeah. When he's like, yeah, do you regret like standing by this guy? Like he was all there. She's like, nah. She tried to just play it off. And it's like, no, for real, just being able to stand up isn't like a winning quality. Like being able to look at it, like, no. So that's a question no one's asked her. No one's asked Adam Schiff, like, where was this direct evidence you had? Like, I haven't forgotten that. And until there's some accountability for that, I think we're going to keep running into this thing that we're seeing with this correspondence dinner. But I think the cool part about this is the people that were there. So the President Association, Eugene Daniels, he spoke a little bit. There were a smattering of celebrities there. Like if Trump's not going to play along and his team's not going to play along, it's like, yeah, what are we doing here? Most people hate everyone in this room anyways.
Yeah, what celebrities?
So usually those are like the biggest comics and all the politicians and all the nerds in the media. Jason Isaacs.
I don't know who that is.
He starred in season 3 of The White Lotus. Okay. Dean Norris.
Okay.
It's a big one. We're all fans of Dean Norris. You might not know it, but he played the DEA agent brother-in-law of Walter White. Was that Hank?
Okay. Yeah, Hank.
Okay, he was there. Tim Daly was there.
That was a good character.
It was a great character. His death was awesome. Great show. Absolutely. Tim Daly was there.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him? He played Henry McCord.
No, not ringing a bell, Mike.
On Madam Secretary?
I did watch that, but I don't know. It's not ringing a bell.
Okay. All right. Linda Carter?
No.
She played Wonder Woman in the 70s?
Did they know that Trump wasn't going to be there?
He's never been there. So they must have. You did have Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Daniels did acknowledge that they had a presentation. Let's see, discuss threats to journalism. At one point, he paused to thank former presidents who have been there, and then played a montage of some of them. Daniels acknowledged Trump's absence from before screening a video of previous presidents like Obama and George Bush and Clinton and Biden and George H.W. and Reagan. He defended journalism, a profession he said is under attack nationally and globally. What we are not is the opposition. We are not the enemy of the people. We are not the enemy of the state. You want to bet?
Yeah, you are, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm talking a lot. You can say whatever you want, but...
No. Keep going. I was pulling something up.
That's kind of it to what he said, but like, no, I don't think you understand, sir. Do you think that came out of left field?
Right.
Like, do you
I don't know why they're even surprised anymore. I mean, my God.
But don't you think, like, okay, do you think one man getting up and going fake news on its own is enough to bury an organization, to have the lowest level of trust in its history ever, like in the teens? Do you think one guy going fake news, like if all the news wasn't fake, if it wasn't propaganda, do you think the rest of the world would be dumb enough to just be like, well, he said it, so it must be true? Like,
some people are.
That's sure. Some people are that dumb, but that's not.
It's Trump derangement. It's not ever going to go away. There's an audience for it, and they're just playing. They're not trying to be objective anymore. So if that's the case, they can't act surprised when he doesn't want to play ball.
I think it is changing a little bit, though. I think that's telling that how few like real celebrities, comics, and whatnot showed up there. Like, it was a free pass to say whatever you wanted, and you could just be Bob De Niro and get up there and they'd all blow you for it. There's pushback. Yeah. There's actual pushback now. And to a lot of these people, I'm surprised Bill Burr wouldn't go there. Like, he's kind of the darling of them right now.
Yeah. His wife would never allow that.
To go to the correspondence dinner?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think?
No.
Maybe not.
I don't know. There's too much derangement. He's not going to go there. He hates him too much.
Yeah, but Trump's not going to be there is the point. So it's just a left-wing echo chamber is what it's turned into. It seems like Bill Burr would be the perfect guy to go MC that room. Yeah. You know what I mean? What are you looking up?
Maybe he wasn't asked. I was just pulling up some pictures from the museum that we visited.
Do you want to pull some up?
Yeah.
Can you do that? I didn't know how to do that. I'm kind of retarded with this stuff.
Retarded.
By the way,
literally call Uber, so I don't even want to hear about it.
No, I can absolutely call Uber, you ass.
You call Uber. Nobody calls Uber except for you.
I didn't call Uber. They called me. Dude, you are so wrong about this. I am
not wrong.
Get that picture off the screen for a minute. I need to explain myself. So they send me a fucking link when I'm there, and they're like, click here when you're ready for a car. They send it hours in advance. So whenever I need a car, I just click the link, and then they call me and they go, "You ready for a pickup, Mike? Cool, we're on our way." And I go, "Okay," and I just hang up.
Yeah, Mike, and so I agree. They send the link. They send the link several hours earlier. When you're ready, you click the link. And then when you're a normal human being and you have the Uber app installed, it pulls up the Uber app and says, your ride is on its way.
Yeah. Mine does that in a text.
Okay.
Same thing.
So
here's why I say
an old man.
I'm not an old man because I have the Uber app and I click on it when I'm on my own dime and not someone else's. And then they do that, what you said.
Mike.
What?
When I click that link that they send for the car, it brings me to my Uber app.
Dude, I don't know what kind of super phone you have that's doing all this cool technology stuff for you. If mine went to the Uber app, it would go to the Uber app. No big deal. No big deal.
You probably don't have it installed.
Yeah. I probably
don't. This
but I do. I'm going to show you.
This is a newspaper clipping from...
what do you know? Uber and Uber Eats right there. Boom.
You're too small. Nobody can see that. This was a newspaper clipping that was for the Herbert Hoover presidential election, which was in I think the 1920s or something like that. And it says, what happened when the Republican Party was in power in Alabama? And it has a picture of all these black guys. It says the above is a photograph of the Alabama legislature of 1872 when the Republican Party was in power in Alabama. The Negroes in the above picture were members of the legislature. I'm just quoting. This is a direct quote.
This is, by the way, this is a newspaper.
Yeah, this is a newspaper clipping from the 1920s. It says, if you are willing to risk a Republican and Negro legislature in Alabama, like the legislature of 1872, vote for Herbert Hoover. If you believe in white supremacy, vote the straight Democratic ticket on November 6th.
Oops.
Right there. If you believe in white supremacy, vote the straight Democratic ticket.
Yeah. So some things never change is what you're saying.
Yeah.
This
talk about a rebranding, huh?
It's unbelievable. It's unreal. Like, it's one of my favorite memes ever. My boy Jim sent it to me because he sends me all my memes. Just like, I haven't seen the Democrats this angry since we, took their slaves away. And then, like, it's the same party of Jim Crow and all of it.
I made a similar comment to that when I think Hakeem Jeffries broke the record for the longest, what's it called when you stand up there? Filibuster. And so I was like, oh, are they trying to end racism again? And so the Democrats are standing, because wasn't there that was when the Democrat had the longest filibuster ever, was when they were trying to end slavery.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember who.
It was like a KKK guy. Whoever was served in the Senate.
David Duke or
yeah, I feel like it was something like that.
Was it David Duke? Biden, I think Biden spoke at his funeral, or no, that wasn't. No, that was the other one. Shit. I can't remember, but yeah, Spartacus got up there and
it was Strom
rambled
Thurmond. It was Strom
Thurmond.
Yeah, Strom Thurmond, filibuster of the Civil Rights Act of 1957.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then something else interesting that we saw, which I literally... oh, go ahead.
So this is the museum that is next door to where the Normal World studio is. It's all part of the same thing. This is Glenn Beck's... what is it called? The American Museum. Shit. I had this the other day.
I just followed them on Instagram.
And I would recommend going there if you're in the Dallas area. It's really cool. It's kind of under construction when Amy and I were there. So they're constantly moving pieces in. And so we got a tour of the whole thing. And it's really cool seeing the things that Glenn has worked a lifetime to collect. And when you have money to be able to do it, it's quite amazing what you can get your hands on.
It's called the American Journey Experience.
Yeah.
And Mike, I went onto their
As Amy
Instagram.
calls it, the Hitler Museum.
Yeah, aka the Hitler Museum. So they actually have a pretty cool Instagram where they tell a lot of the stories that we heard on the tour, but our buddy our buddy that gave us the tour is in some of the videos. I was like, hey, I recognize him.
Yeah. Do you have audio of him?
I could pull it up. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. And what's also cool about
we should have taken notes is what we should have.
We should have.
Yeah.
But what was also cool is they let you touch some of the stuff. Like we actually held Hitler's keys, which was crazy. But their thing was like, you go to these museums and everything's behind glass and you just kind of see it and you forget it. But when you're able to interact with it, and hold it, it kind of has more meaning. And obviously he's not saying he endorses this stuff, but it's part of history and they're trying to erase that history. Right.
Dude, and you had a Bible in your hand that I want to say was from the 1600s or some shit.
Yeah.
Like open.
Crazy.
And I'll tell you, there's a feeling that goes through your body when you're holding the keys that were Hitler's from his pocket. Like they're what you see in the movies, like the old school fucking big metal keys.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, you do feel something. It's not an endorsement. Okay. Right. Because I had multiple people that I shared a picture with that were like, this is disgusting. I don't even, and it's like, yeah, that's how you repeat history, is by trying to turn a blind. And I had to say to this one person, like, hey man, this isn't an endorsement of anything. This is United States history. This is history of the world. Like, I have a few things that, through my lifetime I've collected. It's like, it's not an endorsement of every fucking song this band's written. Yeah, there's Amy, really got a grip on those Hitler keys. If you're watching this on YouTube,
carrying these fucking keys around, Jesus,
dude. But also,
I just aren't you kind of imagining him like fucking around, like trying to figure out which one's like going to open the door?
Oh, I would have to have notes on them. Like this one's to,
Yeah, they're not
Goebbels
even
cage. This
color-coded or
one's to
anything.
yeah, I
Goebbels
would
cage.
need color coding. Yeah, like, okay, this one's to Goebbels' office. This one's to Heinrich's office. This one's,
It was funny because when I was I was sending some of these pictures in my sister group chat, and I didn't even mention what museum I was at. I just wanted to show the things that I saw and talk about them without, because I knew if I said that it was Glenn Beck's museum,
yeah,
it
yeah,
immediately would have been met with, oh my God, he has Hitler stuff. Whereas when I just presented it as like, yeah, and they have Hitler's keys and they actually let you hold this stuff, the reaction
yeah,
was, wow, that's really cool. And I never
yeah,
even mentioned it was Glenn Beck's museum because it's
yeah.
irrelevant to the whole thing, right? But once you say that, it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, gee, it's a nice racist museum. But
Yeah.
one thing
And
that we
and
saw,
let's be clear too. There's all kinds of American history. There's one corner that we focused on because I spent time talking about, like, oh my God, the famous typewriter thing I always forget the name of, that the Germans used to encode.
yeah, the decoder.
Yeah, that is there in Hitler's keys. There's all kinds of stuff. There's newspaper articles. There's also the original outfit that Superman wore, Christopher Reeve. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's like, I remember Superman 2, Superman 3, the original and that fucking outfit. Like, you recognize it immediately when you see it. And that's behind glass. And there's all kinds of rifles from the Civil War and bayonets. And one of the cool things, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, Amy, I'm sorry, but
No, you're good.
like, you realize where it's like, we kept asking, like, are you sure I can touch this? Like, here's a book from 1600s and you're like, and they explain how, no, it's really important. You don't understand how important that is until you hold one of those fucking rifles and then you put the bayonet on the end and you go, dude, this is like 50 fucking pounds. This is heavy as shit. The idea, like, you see it depicted in movies and everybody's running around and we're just loading it. Dude, Amy and I are joking, like, I wouldn't be able to run 15 feet with this thing in my hand. It weighs as much as a dumbbell, and you can't, like, reach. I needed Amy to put the bayonet on the end of it. I couldn't even load my own gun. And then you'd have to hold this thing up that would literally dislocate your shoulder with the kickback. They're huge. They're heavy. And if it's just behind glass, you don't really get the sense of what those pistols felt like, what those guns felt like at that time.
Yeah.
Not picking sides, okay? I mean, I guess I'm picking sides in that one, but
I am picking sides because I got to hold one of 12 Heart of the Oceans that were made for the movie Titanic.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I was
and it
so
sparkles
excited.
more than that picture's doing justice.
Yeah, but it wasn't as heavy as I thought it was going to be.
No.
That's
probably not the one they threw in the water. Well, I think that one sank.
Yeah. And then Mike, is this one showing? Can you see this one?
Oh, I forgot about the rat.
Okay,
yeah.
So this is a rat that has like a shrapnel in its butt. In
its can, yeah.
And what they would do after France fell during World War II, they noticed
there were rats everywhere.
Yes.
In everything.
In everything. And the French teamed up with the British, and they were like, what if we rounded up all the dead rats and we put this bomb in their butt and then put the dead rats back in
amongst all
the other rats. And so when the Nazis figured out that they were doing that, they ended up like literally looking in the assholes of every rat they found, which is kind of funny. So it didn't work. Like, it wasn't a successful way to get bombs in there, but the Nazis were inspecting the asses of rats on the regular. So you can take some solace in that.
And they told us that kids that take the museum tour, by far their favorite part.
Love that story.
They love the fact that they put bombs in rats and had the thing coming out of their can holes.
Yeah, they even have merch.
Yeah, that's kind of a theme.
Merch. Yeah.
In there.
And then the other thing that I wanted to share, this was so cool. This is one of the original copies of the Declaration of Independence. And what was interesting is something that we don't learn now in history class. They kind of teach us that all of the founding fathers were super fucking racist, right? They hated black people. No, they only wanted the whites to be created equal. They didn't write this for everybody. Well, when they were doing this, they I think it was John Hancock put at the beginning, I think at some point, that any changes had to be ratified by by
all 13.
All 13
Yep.
had to agree to it. It had to be unanimous to change it. So when they added in the part about, created equal, and you can see it here, we hold all men are created equal. It's right there.
These truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Yeah. And so they wanted to change that. They wanted to add that, and all 13 had to agree. And I think it was Georgia and South Carolina did not agree to it. And so they weren't able to put this in there. And so that's why the original Declaration of Independence did not have anything in there about all men being created equal, including, that's why I didn't have anything like that in there about black people. So when they try to tell you that the founding fathers were these big racists, they tried to put that in there, and they just weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to ratify it. But it's so interesting. Like there's a bunch of pictures of this, but I mean, this is their handwriting. Like this is John Adams is like initialing this. Like, hey,
his notes.
I wrote on this. And just imagine this hard copy document going back and forth between everybody. It's not like it was being emailed.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. And Amy pointed out at one point, she's like, is that in pencil? Like, it's so funny. You're looking at these things crossed out and notations added and initialed, and it's in pencil.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, that was on the bombing. That was on Hiroshima. What? Right? I think that was
yeah.
What was that? And it was like top secret was written in pencil. It's like, okay.
Yeah. We think of it now with a stamp, in red.
Right. I have
and then it's like they're talking about dropping the nuclear bomb for the first time, and then on the back in pencil is a drawing
of what it's
pretty sure
like.
This is what it's gonna looks like. And it's his hand sketch of the fucking mushroom cloud. Like
looked exactly like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm sending.
Oh, do you have that?
To my computer? Yeah, I have it. It's kind of funny that this top secret is written in pencil. It's a really cool museum, though. They have a lot of cool stuff and
so much stuff that
they're constantly getting new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I think you and I asked good questions because it might have been you or I think I asked, like, how much stuff do you not have on display? And then it might have been you, Aim, that said something like, how much stuff is bullshit? Like people, and they immediately were just like, oh my God, you have no. And like, what do you do? Because I'm going through it now. Like, I remember my grandpa had a Rolex. And I think it was my mom that was like, oh, yeah, it was fake as shit. That wasn't a real Rolex. And I was like, oh, well, but how many people, like, grandma dies, grandpa dies, you're going through their stuff, and you don't want to break their heart and be like, yeah, this is nonsense bullshit. This is a fake.
For sure.
And it's like, do you tell them?
Yeah, and they're like, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, like, we don't want to.
It's just kind of like, thank you for your submission. Thank you for
thanks, but no
thanks. We'll get back to you.
Okay, so this is one of the copies of the bombing of Hiroshima, the plans, and you can
hold for top secret.
You can see here. Yeah, hold for top secret in fucking pencil.
Clearance.
Oh, wait, here. Like, look at that. Someone wrote that in fucking pencil.
And circled it.
Yeah.
Robert Lewis.
Yeah, super important.
Captain of the United States AAF, Air Force, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The bombing of Hiroshima. Jesus.
So then when you flip it over, and on the back of that document is a drawing of what they thought that the atom bomb, or what they thought the bomb was going to look like.
Can't you just imagine the meeting? Like, come on, for real. Like, what do you, like, if you had to guess, what do you think it's going to do?
And he wrote various colors.
40,000 feet plus. It's going to be like this.
Yeah.
It's going to go up like that.
Yeah, it's going to be, yes.
Not bad, though, by the way.
So then,
as someone who...
not bad at all, because this is what it ended up actually looking like, which pretty close.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
He did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was various colors. You can't see that in this photo.
Yeah, right. No color back then. But it's
but no, it was really cool. It was a really interesting place.
Yeah. And then like in the corner, like there's like shelves like in the other room. And again, they were under some sort of like, yeah, we're moving some stuff, creating some space. Sorry for kind of under construction as you guys are walking through here.
They put on these seminars for people to come in and like learn about the history and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think they were moving some of this to those seminars.
Yes. There's all kinds of like, I've been there before when you like, so their offices are on the left when you're walking down the hallway, and then the studio's off to the right, that stage 19 where we went in. So that giant hallway where the couches are, where you were sitting down watching Karen read updates or something and paying no attention to anyone or anything. That area, I've been in there when that's
exactly what was happening.
Yeah. I've been in there when that area is like displaying all kinds of shit. Like they have different, like, oh, we're going to display the Glenn's, museum pieces of such and such. So they'll have his art, he paints and there's been like shows that they've put on with other artists and stuff, and that'll turn into like a gallery, that whole area. So, but it's wild. It hit me in the moment, kind of right by where all the Nazi stuff was. And then behind it was stuff that wasn't on display. And all I saw was a red MAGA hat. Right. And I could just tell that. And I'm like, what is that a MAGA? And they're like, yeah. And it's signed by Donald Trump. And it hit me like 100 years from now, like kids will come through here and be like, what? You have a hat
totally
that the president wore, was signed by the president.
For sure.
Blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of wild. I haven't watched it yet, but it was, I had said to one of the girls, you might have been there, one of the stage directors or floor directors, I was like, I can't believe Trump hasn't been here yet. And she's like looking at her watch, and she's like,
she's looking at her watch. Like, she's like,
this isn't for public consumption yet, but Glenn's in the Oval Office right now. And he's interviewed him a bunch, but the 100 days into the presidency, Glenn got that interview with Trump and was not at the studio when we were there, because he was at the Oval Office interviewing Trump. But it's wild to think like what the papers will, in American history that we're living right now, this crazy time we're living in, when we're fucking long gone.
And like, what are they just going to be shown on like iPads or something?
Yeah, probably. I mean, but they're collecting the shit now.
Like they're going to have like, but I mean, I guess they do still have like hard copy newspapers, but I don't know. It's just kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll be different. I gotta believe that as the world goes forward, it's not going to be an NFT world. It's not going to be like an iPad world, because history is not going to be written on iPads, right? It's still going to be in some form of like signatures. I understand we just went through an auto pen presidency, but that's not normal, right?
Yeah.
Like, Like, you're not going to want.
Yeah, no, I mean, they'll have actual, I mean, they'll definitely have stuff. I just mean, like, I guess I was just thinking about that newspaper article, for example. I mean, at some point you're going to stop collecting newspaper articles, right? But there's still going to be something that's of note that happens in the online newspaper, you know? So how do you display that? I mean, you're still going to have hard physical stuff. Like they had that president's chair, Taylor's chair, whatever. I didn't even know there was a president named Taylor.
They had an old Sparky there.
Yes.
An electric chair. I wanted to sit in it.
Yep. Yeah, with a whip.
Yeah.
Or no, that was a Nazi chair, I think, the one that had the whip.
Oh, yeah. They had an actual chair that was in one of the concentration camps where they would and the fucking whip that they would beat.
The whip.
They would beat on people. I mean, they had a fucking like clothing that prisoners wore, that the Jews wore with their numbers on it.
Mike wanted to wear it. He said it looked cozy.
It did look cozy. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not, again, none of this is saying like, they had some good points. I didn't say anything like that. I'm like, I got to admit that outfit looks kind of cozy. And it looked soft. I mean, it looked dirty, and it was black and white pinstripes, and it just had the numbers on it. But as far as like, I don't know what it was made out of. And again, not an endorsement at all. None of this is an endorsement of any bad behavior and throughout history.
Of course not, Mike. Well, like they also had like the hanging Chad, one of the hanging Chad machines there.
2000? Was that 2000 election in Florida? One of the machines?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Al Gore and George Bush.
George W. So they had one of the cars that Orson Welles gave to Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Sounds right.
Which was really cool, and it still ran. And then there was also like one of the first Fords that were made.
Edsels.
Right? Edsel Ford. And they were telling us this story about how remember he would put like a copy of his quote unquote newspaper in every car or whatever that he was selling. And then they found out that it was called The International Jew, the World's Foremost Problem. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it says published by the Dearborn Publishing Company, Dearborn, Michigan, November 1920. So like when he would sell these cars, he would like put a copy of this in each car.
Yeah. It's wild. So, and the Rita Hayworth one, I was like, did you think she ever drove it? Because it was just like a gift. Like, hey, my girl, drive this thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, she drove it for 40 years.
Yeah, and it still runs.
Yeah, the keys in it.
It was really
We wanted to take it for a spin pretty bad, but
yeah.
You pointed out, and I think you're right. White wall tires are dope.
They are.
You know?
Why'd we get away from them?
I don't know. We should go back to them.
Why did we get away from those? I know we should. Well, hey, Mike, I do feel like I need to give a Karen Reed update. You know, we've had 1 week of trial so far.
Yeah. How's it going? You confident?
It's going good. Of course I'm confident. Could not be more confident, Mike.
Don't be Kamala
in
confident.
Fact, I'm not going to be, but so if anybody's interested in like key testimony of key shady witnesses, tomorrow is my understanding. Jen McCabe is going to be on the stand tomorrow.
Okay.
And she is the one who Googled how long to die in the cold at 2:27 in the morning. So today
does she have protection at all? Like she has to testify, but she's like, she has some sort of immunity, or is the risk that she's going to be like, I don't know, I just got a whim and texted that for some reason.
Oh, well, no, they have found a way to explain. You'll never believe this, Mike. So they're now saying they had an expert on the stand today. So they were putting this expert on the stand today to counteract the damaging testimony that's going to come tomorrow from her. But he's essentially saying that, you know how you have a million tabs open at once, you know, like you have a million tabs in Safari open, like
you jizz or whatever. Porn, like, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. He would have you believe that if you had a tab open and you were looking something up and then you just exited out, you swiped up and you just went on to doing something else, the next time you go back into your browser, whatever time it is at that time is what time is going to show for that search. So you could have made a search, 4 hours ago for ujiz.com, right? And then you get your results and it's 4 p.m. and you Google UJIS and you swipe up and you're like, okay, I'm going to go do something else, blah, blah, blah. And you open your browser back up at 7 p.m. and you're like, and the first thing that you see is UJIS, right? It's going to show in your phone logs that search happened at 7 p.m. and not 4 p.m. That's what they're trying to say. So they're trying to say
that would be like, even so, like, that's a cute story. That's cute.
Yeah, that's like, cute, right?
Okay, if we take that on its face, like, sure. I mean, that's absurd.
Sure.
That's absurd. Yeah. But
yeah,
but
I know.
And
true? Do you know how many cases people have been convicted on cell phone data like that? Like, if that's actually true. So this guy that they got, he actually works at Celebrate, which is the device or the program that analyzes all this information.
Which is the preeminent in the world, by the way. It's what law enforcement uses, Secret Service uses. Like,
he said this search in particular, this search on this case made them change their software because this was happening. But then he made it seem like it's still happening. So I'm not even totally sure, which tells me it's very possible she made this search. Like, none of what he said makes sense. If you're going to tell me that something I Googled earlier is not going to show up until I use that tab way later on, like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But it's going to give an original timestamp, I would think. And I would also think that these guys that are doing when they're going into a phone, I mean, you would think they're looking at keystrokes and all kinds of shit, and they would know exactly.
Right, which they never looked at any.
They would know exactly what time that search was. And honestly, if it was 7 hours later, it wouldn't even matter. Like, the fact that it happened at 2:30 in the morning or whatever while this was going on just seems plausible.
Yeah.
It seems like a panic move, one that you're like kicking yourself for in the end, like, oh my God, I left my fucking wallet on the dead guy. Like, one of those boneheaded moves.
Exactly.
But it seems like something in the moment, it would be like, I don't even think he's dead yet. How long does it even take that? Oh my God, hold on. And then the whole rest of the night, you'd be going, Karen, I can't believe you fucking Googled that.
Yes.
Like, so obvious.
Yes. And it was the only search that was deleted. So spare me, like, miss me with the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Her husband is in IT. So what this tells me is that she did it. They freaked out and she deleted it. And her husband said, you have to Google it in the morning with that exact same spelling error, which is Haslong instead of how long, Haslong to die in cold. You have to Google it with that same spelling error at 6:30 in the morning. So it doesn't look as suspicious. And you can just say, no, I did it in the morning. I don't know why it's showing up at 2 a.m.
So what would the excuse be?
But when you look at it in the context,
why would you even use that at 6 in the morning?
She said that Karen told her to Google it. Which it's sitting in the back of a car and how long does it take to die from hypothermia? How long cold? And that's what she Googled. Dash cam footage. So it did.
So
I'm
when
assuming
did Karen
it
say
happen.
this to her? Is Karen like, are you insane? I never told her.
Yeah, of course. And so, plus when you line it up with the quote unquote butt dials that the two Bryans were making back and forth, 22 in the morning, at 2:27 in the morning, she Googled how long to die in cold. So if from my perspective, at 2:22 was the plan to put the body out on the lawn, and 2:27 she Googled how long does it take to actually die in the cold.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's reasonable doubt, right? And that's all that you need. So Jen's going to take the stand tomorrow, and I can't wait because a lot of what the expert today testified to contradicts Jen's testimony from her first trial. Like, I was watching it like, oh fuck, she's gonna get caught in such a lie because about that, and this guy's just like proving her story all wrong. So I think it's going very well for Karen and the defense team, and she hasn't even started putting on her case yet. So tomorrow's going to be good. If you're interested at all, tomorrow's going to be testimony that you want to watch for sure. Because Jen is a disaster.
Yeah. So,
and she's so fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is
like,
she again?
Is she the mastermind?
Is she the wife of someone involved or just a friend?
She's the sister-in-law of the homeowners.
Sister-in-law. Okay. Yeah. So she's got a vested interest in keeping people.
She does. And to me is she never went in the house. She never, I just think if I pulled up to Kelly's house and there was a dead body on her lawn, the first thing I would do is run in the house to make sure Kelly was okay. Yeah, especially if it was somebody that Kelly had invited over the night before. I'd be like, oh my God, somebody came here and massacred the whole house.
Yeah. I think if I pulled up to my sister's house and there was a dead body on the front, I think I'd call maybe. I could see calling. Like, everything all right in there?
Okay.
There's a dead guy on the lawn.
So say she doesn't answer, which is their story, because she does call. She calls twice, and both calls are showed as answered, but she says that she didn't answer. But the records show that she did.
Really?
So say she didn't answer. Would that in turn be like, okay, I need to go in and see what's going on?
Well, I know some people that would absolutely run into the burning building. I know some people, Isis, for instance. Isis might call. He'd call from down the street, and then if no one answered, he'd probably leave. Right? There's a guy in there killing people, probably. I'm out of here. Like, he would.
Well, she went in a half hour later to let them know what was going on, but it took a half hour for her to go inside.
Do you think you'd go in if no one answered? Or do you think you'd call the cops?
I wouldn't even call first.
No.
I'd bust in there because I'd be so freaked out.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be worried that he's on the loose and he's killing people in this house? Like, would you?
I would probably I'd be at the door going, there's somebody. I'd be on the phone with 911. There's somebody dead on the front lawn. I'm going into my sister's house to make sure everything is okay.
Yeah,
that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I could see. Boy, oh boy, that would be tough with a body in the yard. If you saw a body on the yard. Like
somebody
would you know that you knew him though? Because there was snow involved.
Yeah, she knew who it was. She knew who it was. She knew it was John. Oh, 100%. Yeah, they knew it was John. Okay, 100%.
Yeah,
because Jen called 911. So she said there's a guy in the snow, which I also think is fucking weird. Because if he's supposedly your friend that you love, quote unquote, the fact that you didn't say there's, my friend John, he's dead in the snow. He's a Boston cop. Hurry up, or there's an officer down,
Yeah.
I know he's not officially on duty, but no sense of urgency whatsoever. She's just like, we pulled up and there's a guy in the snow. And it's like, there's a guy in the snow. That's all you have to say. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
The behavior is so odd. When you get into the deleted calls and the butt dials and the getting rid of the phones and and then when you get into the proctor of it all. So I'm so confident, and I've gotten some friends into it too, which makes me so happy because they're texting me about it and they're getting as obsessed with it as I am, which I appreciate. And everyone is like, I can't believe this is even a thing.
Well,
how is this a thing?
Tomorrow, Dave Landau is going to be on to talk about his book.
Fun.
Yeah, Party of One, which I was talking about. I think he was at Drew's today, and his kid's got a baseball game tonight, and so I was trying to get him on, but he's excited to come on tomorrow, and I want to talk to him all about his book and stuff. So it's going to be a little different, so we might have to put it on hold.
Nice, that'll be fun.
I read the entire book on my flight there and back from Dallas. I think I've got 4 pages left, and it is so good. It is so good.
Is it?
It really is. I can't wait to talk to him about it. Yeah, it's like I read Anthony Cumia's book, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew everything in it because I'd listened to Anthony on the radio for a long time. And so that was my fear with Dave's book. I've interviewed Dave many times, talked a lot about some of these stories. I've seen his stand up. I've worked with him. I've done many shows with him, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, there's not much that I'd be surprised if this is like, wow, real page turner. I have never heard it. Dude, I had no idea what his life was like and like the stories behind it all and how good of a writer he is. Now, I don't know. I'll ask him, but who helped you write this? Your grammar seems on point, sir. You know, the whole me versus I, like and I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing it right. Someone's helping him because he's as retarded as I am.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I don't have it in here right now, but Party of One is the name of it. It's a bestseller, and I think people will get a lot out of it and see a lot of humanity and what he went through, how he was created, where he came from, the stories. It's impressive shit. So I would highly recommend all of you go get it, read it for yourself. But we will welcome Dave on tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to watch the Pistons next game? Are you going to bother?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So bummed.
Fucking bummer, man.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Do you need to get out of here? If you do, we can wrap it up. You got a few minutes left.
Yeah, a few minutes.
I know you were
kind of crashing a little bit, but
Amy had a fucking migraine all day, and it almost got really ugly. And I feel you, dog. So I don't want to keep you too long. But yeah, that Pistons game, holy shit,
so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't even look at that last call. I know everyone's pissed about the last call. The 3-point shot should have been called, absolutely. But you're seeing a young star in Cade. You got to hit one of those last two fucking 12-foot jumpers with everything on the line. It's like I was texting someone, my brother maybe, just like, well, this is where superstars are born. This is where Steph Curry doesn't miss. Like they just don't. This is where Jordan just didn't miss. This is where LeBron or Kobe, name them, Luka, they just don't. Like in this moment, you don't miss an open 12-footer for the win with 7 seconds left. You just don't miss those, And you see so quick, like the difference between having multiple guys that can carry the load, pick up when someone's off a little bit, and just relying so much on kind of running through one guy,
So frustrating that we lost both home games by 2 points.
Yeah.
So fucking frustrating. Holy shit.
I the matter I got watching it, I was like 14-win team a year ago. Like
I know. That's the thing. Like it's so much more fun to watch it when you don't have expectations, because if we expected them to be good, this would be even more fucking frustrating. Yeah. Like, I don't think anybody expected them to even make the playoffs. So the fact that we're talking about them being in the playoffs is of note. Yeah. It's kind of like the Lions. We didn't expect them to make it to the NFC Championship a couple years ago.
The Tigers last year.
And then, it's a lot more fun when you're watching it without expectations. But fun to watch. Man, God, I just love playoff basketball when your team's in it. It's just so much fun.
I'm finding the playoff atmosphere in any sport that your team is in. Like football, football playoffs, I can watch any team. Like I'm a football guy. Yeah. Baseball, it's like, the Blue Jays and the fucking, are in the
World Series I can watch, but
even that,
not like I don't care about it as much.
Even that, if I don't have like a rooting vested interest, if my Giants are in it, if the Tigers are in it, I'm in. I'm hanging on every pitch in those. But if it's another team, forget it. Hockey, don't care. Unless it's the Wings, I don't care. Yeah. Football, I can watch every minute. Playoff basketball, playoff baseball. It's just seeing the crowd, seeing, everyone dolled up, chanting, going crazy. Like it's just awesome. And you realize though, in basketball, you have to have your Scottie Pippen to your Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? If you don't have at least two stars that are just that special, you're just not going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, Malik Beasley had been so cold these last few games. I mean, he wasn't making any of his shots, and he was, I think he was second in the league in 3-pointers this season. So
yeah,
you know, but shit, the Lakers aren't doing much better with Luka and LeBron.
Yeah.
So you know,
true.
The ball falls a different way, and for one shot in each of those games, it's a different outcome.
Yeah.
So, I think they're very close. It's just so frustrating.
NFL draft happened this weekend.
So I heard.
Yeah. Do you watch that?
I mean, I used to be more into it when it was a bigger deal,
top 3
but
pick
I'm
for the
not
Lions.
yeah, it was like our Super Bowl, but I don't really give a shit about it as much anymore. I watched some of it, but I was tuned in to see about the Shedeur thing because everybody was having a fucking meltdown over that, which was ridiculous.
Yeah. What did you think of that, by the way? The Shedeur, the prank call and and him sliding.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about the prank call other than that was just a kid doing something really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What did he even say on the prank call?
I have it. You want to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a Ole Miss student who happens to be Jeff Ulbrich's kid, Jax Ulbrich, which is how he got the number. So if you don't know, these guys, everyone that's potentially going to be drafted, they give them a special phone. The GMs and coaches have those numbers. So it's not just like one of these players' cell phones where every knucklehead friend of theirs is calling going, "Did you get picked yet?" Their phone's ringing off. You can imagine what your phone would be doing when ESPN and NFL Network are showing you on camera all day. You catch a glimpse of someone in a crowd, ask them if you've ever been on camera. You probably dealt with this with the Tigers. I saw you on TV. Like the amount of people that will call you and blow your phone up. So they have a system where it's like, okay, on this particular couple days, here's a special phone. The only people that have this number. So if it fucking rings, you're getting the call that you're going to be drafted by a franchise. And so Jeff Ulbrich is a D coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. And his kid, who's a 21-year-old Ole Miss student, saw on dad's iPad, Shedeur Sanders. He's like, let's fucking call him. As this was happening and unfolding.
Hey, is this Shedeur?
It's ringing.
Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
This ain't gonna be legendary.
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
It's going to be legendary.
Oh.
Okay.
Yikes.
I think there's another. Do I have the I didn't grab it. Sorry. There's another angle because of course Shedeur Sanders is recording as well, and so you can see his side of it where the family's all around and they're all.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just a prank, so whatever. He got drafted.
Yeah, he got drafted. It's no big deal.
When did this happen? What round did the prank call happen?
Second or third round, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what time. I still think so. The Falcons put out a statement because Jeff Ulbrich, the coordinator there earlier this week. Jax, the 21-year-old son of blah blah blah, unintentionally came across the draft contact phone number. Gross. For Shedeur Sanders off an open iPad while visiting blah blah. The Falcons do not condone this behavior and send our sincere apologies to Shedeur and his family, who we've been in contact with to apologize to, as well as facilitate an apology directly from Jax to the Sanders family. Blah blah blah. We've been in contact with the NFL. We are thoroughly reviewing all protocols and updating if necessary to prevent an incident like this from ever happening again. Calm down.
What, from someone leaving their fucking iPad unlocked at home? Give it a rest.
Exactly. I just don't.
What do you think? What do you think he said to his son when he found out? Get your ass in here and sit down.
Guess what you're doing the rest of this weekend?
Kidding me?
Get your ass home.
You are grounded.
Yeah, big time. So Jax released a statement on Friday night. I made a tremendous mistake. Shedeur, what I did was completely inexcusable, embarrassing, and shameful. I would have added right there, and 100% par for the course at 21 years old. 100%. Yeah. You would think that's hilarious.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't you just like have, God, I feel like it would be more legit if he just came out and was like, dude, I was drunk in college. I did something stupid. I thought it was funny at the time. I realized it wasn't. I'm sorry. Because that's we saw the video. Like, you're laughing like a fucking clown. You don't think it's bad that you did that. You think it's funny. Yeah. You're just mad that you got caught about it.
Stephen A. Smith suggested it could stem from teams' dislike of Sanders, his father, Deion, also likening the situation to that of Colin Kaepernick.
Oh,
I mean, come on, Jesus dude. Christ. Aren't you running for president? Shut the fuck up with the Colin Kaepernick is a clear, it's very obvious what happened to Colin Kaepernick. No matter how far you want to shove that down some bullshit. No, the league figured him out. Defenses do that. They're really good in the NFL. Yeah. So him being able to run like a deer and get away from trouble, that's what happened to Colin Kaepernick. They would put up with him.
Maybe he just has a bad fucking attitude. Yeah. Like, has anybody ever thought that maybe he's got a bad attitude? Maybe they've seen his maybe they've seen his behavior. Maybe they've, he didn't, from my understanding, it started coming out like gross kind of later in the week last week that he didn't have great interviews.
Had terrible interviews
with these teams.
And you know what is coming out also? That he was intentionally acting a fool in some of those interviews because he didn't want to go to those teams.
Yeah. You wanted to pull a Manning.
Yeah. And wanted to be brought down, the best thing that could happen to this kid, in my opinion, is not get drafted and have to walk on somewhere. Dude, to think this is such a product of growing up with Deion fucking Sanders as your dad. The problem is Deion Sanders is arguably the most elite human ever to play cornerback. I know people will debate. You could talk about Green out of Washington. You could talk about our boy from Michigan, played for the Raiders and Packers. There are some guys that were Hall of Fame level. Deion Sanders was absolutely next level talent. They're willing to put up with you being an absolute arrogant prick because you're that good. Shedeur Sanders is not that, but he grew up with that. It's all about the image. Even in that call.
They retired his number, Mike.
Yeah.
At Colorado.
6-win team. They retired Shedeur. Yeah. Oh, his dad's the head coach?
And you played with the best two-way player who's played in a long time. What are you going to be like without him? And you played at Colorado, dude. You didn't play in the Big Ten. You didn't play at Bama. You didn't play in the SEC. Fucking relax.
Yeah. It's just so funny. The amount of people, Democrat U.S. Rep Jamal Bowman came out and suggested the United States' fear of strong black men was behind this drop. Really?
That's the most ridiculous. The first player taken was a black quarterback.
I know. It's weird, isn't it? So was the second.
Mike, I'm schwitzing.
Are you? Are you okay? You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm just starting to sweat. So I don't know. I feel like you need to wrap it up.
Okay.
Because I'm I feel like how you felt on Normal World.
Yeah, but I was a man. I powered through on Normal World.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you, it's not a great situation.
Yeah, you getting a migraine again, pussy?
Do you have any fucking emails that are bitching about me and Garrett or to get through?
No,
we're not.
No, I mean, emails? I can, but no, we can wrap it up. I always get emails bitching about you and Garrett and Raj and everything else. That's okay. Yeah, no, we can end it there. I just think it's fucking comical, this whole Shedeur. I think it's good take him down a peg, and then you can go in and fucking earn your spot on a team, son. And I would have played video, which nobody is playing, but Shedeur Sanders' rap video, fake gangsta bullshit, whatever he's trying to put out there, one of the most entitled, enriched people that grew up in America, like, stop it. Just stop it. Go out there and whoop ass and become legendary if that's what you want.
Yeah. Just ask Tom Brady how that works.
Yeah. You need to, that humble pie is the best thing that ever happened for him. And the Lions had a boring draft. They took a receiver, I think, which slot guy picking pieces, and then a couple D linemen. Great. This is the way they build. I love it. I love it. You know,
I like
the flashy big pick doesn't matter. So typically,
yeah, I mean, what fucking flashy good pick are you going to have when you're one of the best teams?
Exactly. All right, let's call it a day there, Ames. Go feel better.
Sorry.
And
Thank you.
Dave Lando tomorrow. So
Sweet.
yeah.